Hello, my friends. How are we all doing? You like how I inserted a pause as if I can hear you? I know, I'm totally a professional. So, I'm going to read you a story. This is a cross post from the Neckbeard Stories subreddit, actually. Someone sent me this. This is The Tale of Iowabeard. I saw the notification for this, but I haven't read it. But I did scroll down through it. This is a long one, so I hope you're ready. I made a Reddit account just to post this story. It must be told. I know that what you're about to read sounds larger than life and totally unreal. Trust me, I wish it wasn't real. Disclaimer, I do not post this to attack or bully anyone. I merely need to ensure that my story is told. Given that a lot of this happened years ago, not all of the conversations are word for word, but they are being recreated to the best of my ability. Now the introduction's out of the way, it's time to begin. This is the tale of the worst person I have ever met. Everyone, I'll introduce you now to Iowabeard. I first met Iowabeard when he moved to our hometown in 6th grade. He moved there in the middle of the year. I saw him in the hall, wandering around, looking lost and alone, searching for his classes. Something inside me compelled me to just help him out. At the time, I felt that this was a simple act of kindness towards someone completely new to the area. Little did I know that this would turn out to be the biggest mistake I had ever made. I introduced myself to him, and his eyes light up. I interpreted this as him being happy that someone was saying hi. Looking back, I was wrong. More on that later. Immediately, he was quite off-putting. Despite being 11 or 12 at the time, he looked like a giant 6-year-old. A true baby-faced fella. He was quite round, with so much face fat that his eyes nearly eclipsed. No matter what, he would always spike up his hair. That, combined with his glasses, made him look like Kim Jong-il. The worst part is, he reeked. Absolutely stank up the place. The most pungent body odor imaginable. Not even being masked by any body spray. Not like that would do that much, but it would have been a nice gesture. He introduces himself in his shaky voice.
Hi, I'm Iowabeard. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
A little odd sounding, sure, but what's the use in judging someone I don't know? Hey, I'm OP. He smiled widely.
OP? I like that name. I like that name a lot. It's a very nice name.
That made me a little uncomfortable, but nevertheless, I decided to show him to his next class. On the way there, he's explaining how he moved from Delaware and how he's happy to get out of there. Apparently, every single person there was a
no good, filthy bully who sought every day to ruin my life.
Another red flag was slowly rising. It was at that point that I decided it would probably be better to just show him to class and maybe not really talk as much after this. I brought him to class, and he asked me 3 times if I was in the same one. Each time I told him that I wasn't. He made these over-the-top rage comic-style sad face, and then would ask me again, but in a reworded form. I really didn't have time to stay there. I kinda gotta get to class myself. I'd all but forgotten about Iowabeard until English class rolled around. I was happy that I had this class with my boyfriend. Let's call him Nathan. Before you say anything in the comments, yes, I had a boyfriend in 6th grade. I know. You don't know what love is at that age. Dating is for high school or college. I get it. Stick around and read the rest before you say anything, okay? Anyway, I sit down next to him, and he starts telling me about this new kid he got to know in 2nd period. I have a feeling I know who he's talking about. Sure enough, I'm right. A few minutes later, I smelled that old familiar smell. This undeniable smell of Iowabeard. I turn around, and he's standing right behind us.
Huh, Nathan, I see you know LP. She's nice, isn't she?
Yeah, I'd say so. Iowabeard sat next to Nathan, and the two started talking. I just let him go. It's nice to see Nathan being nice to someone with no friends. His kind heart is one of the things I always liked the most about him. Though I wasn't a big fan of Iowabeard's smell, which was quickly making me feel nauseous. Iowabeard didn't disappear at lunch either. He sat between Nathan and I, trying to talk to both of us. I don't remember what the subject was. All I remember is that it made Nathan feel kind of uncomfortable. We all had the rest of our classes together. When we got let out for the day, Iowabeard ran to catch up with us, his body mass jiggling like jello. However, he was quickly dismayed when he saw that his parents were there to pick him up. He threw a small temper tantrum because he couldn't talk to his new friends and dramatically stormed off. Nathan and I didn't live too far away from our middle school, so we always walked home. On our walk, I asked him why he was hanging out with Iowabeard. He told me that he felt bad for the guy. He was sitting in the back of the class, looking lost and alone. He knew what it was like to be the new guy and had no friends, as he had moved to the state only 2 years before. Not wanting this new guy to go through the same thing, he decided, what the hell, he'll befriend him. While he acknowledged that Iowabeard was kind of odd, he seemed well-meaning and overall kind of harmless. I decided to trust his judgment. Maybe Iowabeard was just socially awkward. Maybe with time he'd get some social skills and eventually learn to shower. I was so wrong. Day after day, Iowabeard would not leave our sides unless he had to. He stuck to us like glue. I was uncomfortable, but I decided to let it be. After all, he wasn't hurting anybody. We're also learning a lot about him, and that didn't help me like him any better. He was a
proponent of admiring the female backside,
loved violent video games to an excessive degree, and was an aspiring writer. One day, Nathan and I offered to read some of his stories and give him some feedback. He proceeded to give us this several pages thick story filled with sexism, racism, and a lot of typos. How can you misspell the word "the" so many times? It was a headache. When he asked what we thought of it, we decided to sugarcoat it. He ignored any semblance of criticism and went on about what an amazing author he was, and how he was happy to have some new fans. Sure, we're fans, I guess. The rest of the year was like this. I didn't really like Iowabeard, and I kind of said that to Nathan, and he agreed. Still, Nathan wanted to stay friends with Iowabeard because he wanted to help him out. Over time, he developed a reputation at the school. He was often seen staring at girls' butts and would have these legendary temper tantrums when he got bad grades, which happened a lot. In fact, he barely passed 6th grade. Turns out that his bad typing skills weren't just for his stories. His reports were a mess. When we would trade our essays for peer review in English class, whoever got his ended up dousing it with red ink. Most of the time, he would storm over to them and give them an earful. Basically, he would accuse them of being bullies who didn't know how to
identify quality works.
The only time he didn't go on the attack was when either Nathan or myself ended up grading his essays. He'd look at us and say,
"Oh, thank you,"
and ignore what we had to say. He'd end up getting something like a C- or a D+ at best. He even told us that he barely passed 6th grade. That summer, Iowabeard would stop by Nathan's house, sometimes uninvited. He would justify these unannounced visits by saying,
"Oh, that's how people do it in Delaware."
I'm not so sure that's true. Can anybody from Delaware confirm this? Besides, I thought he said that everyone there was a bully. Anyway, when Nathan and I would talk, he would always have some kind of crazy story about Iowabeard. Some of those ones I remember are about how the two were playing Smash Brothers, and Iowabeard would never hit any of the female fighters because,
it's rude to hit a lady,
and would get mad when the computer randomly picked a female fighter, to the point where Nathan had to start the battle over until it's an all-male roster. He would ask Nathan who his favorite big bottoms were. Nathan never answered that, which made Iowabeard fairly upset. However, this did not stop him from going on and on about some of the TV or movie characters that he liked the butts of. One time, he was over at Nathan's house for dinner. His mom made spaghetti. Iowabeard said that he could tell that the noodles were low quality because of how easy they were to cut. Needless to say, it was quite a while before Iowabeard was invited back to Nathan's house for dinner. I wasn't without my summer Iowabeard encounters either. Whatever few times we happened to bump into each other, he would constantly ask for my phone number. When I declined over and over, he would latch on to me, not leaving until I left myself. This would happen even when Nathan and I were going to the movie theater or the arcade. The guy would just never leave us alone. 7th grade was more of the same. There isn't much of a cohesive tale with this, but I'll share some amusing anecdotes. Iowabeard showed up to lunch one day with a red 3-ring binder. He told us that this was his super bottom collection. Inside there were pictures of characters like Bessie from Back at the Barnyard and Anita Maria from Total Drama, or the sister from Paranorman. Page after page of pictures of his beloved super bottoms. I was disgusted. I, being a girl, did not take too kindly to this guy being so open to objectifying women in front of me. Nathan was likewise very uncomfortable. Despite how many times we tried to tell him that we're uncomfortable, he just kept describing his favorite super bottoms and what qualities of their butts that he liked best. Even the two of us telling him that this is unbelievably creepy would not deter him. Sure enough, word of his infamous super bottom binder spread, and people began to make fun of him for it. As if that wasn't bad enough, he would always have the worst replies. I remember one time some guy shouted at him, "Hey, Iowabeard, have a nice jerk-off session to Glory the Hippo?" And he replied, "It wasn't glorious, Florida car." Wow. One day, Iowabeard tried to challenge our math teacher to a debate to prove that the math teacher only gave him an F on a recent test because he was trying to bully him. And not even getting detention stopped him from going on this rant. His smell was getting worse, but this was that age where he discovered Axe body spray, and now he smelled like a walking dumpster covered in a gallon of chemicals. Charming. Truly, truly charming. He tried out for both the school musical and the football team, but didn't really make either. Apparently both of these groups had paid off the people in charge not to let him join because they were too scared of my power and might. Well, that's what he told us, and everyone who would listen. We have to believe him. It's the only thing that makes sense. What? Do you actually think that this increasingly rotund, tone-deaf, emotionally unbalanced, arrogant, socially awkward, touchy-feely, stinky boy was unqualified to be given a spot? Impossible, I say! I like your writing. Nathan went over to Iowabeard's house for the first time. He met his parents, who, as it turned out, ran a very tight ship. When Iowabeard told them about what trouble he'd gotten into that day, a huge fight broke out, which Iowabeard has apparently kept escalating when his parents were trying to wait until they no longer had company. Nathan also met Iowabeard's older brother, who is actually the total opposite of him. He was kind, well-groomed, and didn't make awkward comments about women's butts every 10 minutes. Frankly, because of the stories above, Nathan was starting to want to distance himself from Iowabeard. I felt that this was a dream come true. Iowabeard was becoming more aggressive in his attempts to attract a super bottom. He also apparently had a new target. Me. See, I'll be the first to admit that my rear end is on the larger side. Luckily, I haven't struggled with body issues a ton. I, for the most part, have been relatively comfortable with who I am and how I look. However, the closest I have gotten to feeling bad about my body was when Iowabeard started making his advances towards the end of 7th grade. He had taken particular interest in my rear end, calling me things like his booty queen, or saying that I was rumpalicious. This bothered me a lot. But he remained undeterred. After all, it's good to appreciate a woman's features, especially when she has been given such a gift. Whenever I would tell the teachers about this, the little demon would proudly own up to it. Unable to grasp how I could possibly have a problem with any of this. Needless to say, many detentions were given to him. Around the start of 8th grade, Iowabeard was now finally ready to confess his feelings, which he did in a crowded hallway, and while Nathan was standing next to me. I didn't have time to reject him because Nathan stepped in to tell Iowabeard that, yeah, we're dating. He didn't believe him. It took me having to confirm this to finally get him to understand. Then he accused me of leading him on, despite the fact that not only was I extremely obvious, but we had told him that we were dating multiple times. I guess he just chose to ignore that. Or maybe he has memory issues. Iowabeard, however, was not done yet. He exploded at Nathan, accusing him of stealing his queen. in front of him. After all, he liked me first. Need I remind you that Nathan and I had been together since before Iowabeard even came to this state, let alone this school? A teacher told him he needed to calm down or he'd get detention, and he blew up at this teacher and proceeded to summarize his version of what happened. Yeah, this backfired, causing him to get another detention. He stormed off while declaring him and Nathan mortal enemies, and that their war would not end until he had won me over. That year we had an English class with this amazing teacher. Let's call him Mr. Williams, because he sounded and acted a lot like Robin Williams. This guy was great. He's one of those teachers that live for his job. He was so extra motivated to make sure that every student succeeded that, and he said time and time again, that he knew some people in his class had a passion for reading and or writing, so it was up to him to encourage those people to pursue their goals. Everybody loved this guy. Except Iowabeard. Apparently, over that summer, he had taken to writing fanfiction. He never posted anywhere, but he had a lot of it on file. He wrote a fair few stories, and he printed them all off, constantly bragging that he was going to get them published, and then become the most famous fanfiction author in the world. It's not how it works. And that's breaking a ton of copyright laws, but whatever, fine. Anyway, he gave one to Mr. Williams early on in the school year, asking him what he thought of one of his many finest masterpieces. I wasn't there to confirm this, but as Iowabeard himself said, Mr. Williams attacked his writing. So Iowabeard lashed out to defend himself. Really, knowing Mr. Williams, what probably happened was that he had a few suggestions on how to fix the spelling and grammar, and Iowabeard didn't take it well. I mean, that's probably closer to the truth. From that day forward, Mr. Williams became the next addition to Iowabeard's enemy list. He would badmouth Mr. Williams in front of anybody he saw, accusing him of academic harassment. He would also crank his bad grade tantrums up to 11 with Mr. Williams, likely believing that he was going through some kind of impressive anime transformation while he was doing it. Mr. Williams, however, being the saint he was, offered Iowabeard after-school help to help with his writing, which his parents forced him to attend. It didn't make much of a difference, though. He still basically just wrote gibberish. The flirting increased as well. Time and time again, he would walk in between Nathan and I, openly admitting to try and split us up. Only he would describe it as saving him from this unfitting and abusive relationship. Fear not, you shall have your true man soon. Each time he said something like this, I held back vomit, while Nathan stared daggers at him. Periodically, he would thrust these fanfictions into mine or Nathan's laps. To me, these were apparently weapons of mass seduction that were to be used to win over his future bride. To Nathan, these were threats, being used as a way to intimidate Nathan because he was going up against such a talented writer. Surprisingly, these epic tales never succeeded in their primary purpose. Now we get to 9th grade. This is the point where things got really, really bad. Iowabeard began getting super interested in sexuality. More so than usual, that is. Maybe it was just to cope with his brother enlisting in the Navy. Maybe it was because Mr. Williams got a job as the 9th grade English teacher and Iowabeard was forced to handle his academic abuse yet again. I don't know. I don't care. He started getting dangerous. While I remained his booty queen or super bottom of choice, he still lusted after every girl in our grade, growing increasingly obvious with his staring and drooling. He even reached out to touch them sometimes, which never ended well for poor Iowabeard. That wasn't the only major development. You remember those fanfictions? Well, now he started publishing them for all to see. That's right, now the whole world could easily go to the web and see all of Iowabeard's craziness on full display. At first, they were horrible, but somewhat readable. As time went on, however, more and more people found his fanfiction account and began to give his stories negative reviews. The main criticisms were terrible spelling, being unfaithful to the source material, having a super boring writing style, being racist/sexist/homophobic, and having horrible spelling. This did not sit well with Iowabeard. He accused Nathan of sending an army of trolls and bullies and haters to my fanfiction page. Naturally, Nathan just left this off, so Iowabeard decided to tell the whole school about this, which only caused more people to find out about his laughable stories, which then made him angrier. Rinse and repeat several times over. Perhaps the worst consequence of this was that Nathan, the very person who these stories were supposed to intimidate, was unable to stop reading them. The very day one was posted, he would call me up and give me a dramatic reading of his own. I didn't really find him funny, but it was nice to hear him having fun. Besides, he's got a cute laugh. Things got out of hand when some YouTubers got a hold of these fanfictions and started doing dramatic readings of them, typos and all. This caused Iowabeard to snap, vowing revenge on these people. So he decided to write them all into his stories as villains, and they would systematically be killed off. I only know of this because of those readings that Nathan would give me. When an overweight, sex-starved maniac with a god complex who goes to your school writes about killing YouTubers, that tends to stick with you. Once again, these threats didn't have any effect. The YouTubers and the fanfictions didn't notice. To him, this must have been an indication that he could put whoever he wanted in these stories with no consequence. I think you all know where this is going. Iowabeard did a lot of one-shot fanfictions, rarely ever writing one with a second chapter. However, he did have one lingering story on his page. It was the ongoing saga of Batman, an Iowabeard self-insert, who would go around Gotham City, often misspelled as Gotham City, killing the various assortment of baddies that were either in the comics or were Iowabeard's own creations. These were all standard self-insert fare. The self-insert was the smartest, strongest, most skilled, and most intelligent guy around, while everyone else was a bumbling idiot who basically worshipped the ground self-insert walked on. Nathan seemed to like these the most, as they were basically Iowabeard's literary masturbation. However, they wouldn't always be funny. One time, he's reading one of the fanfictions to me over the phone, and then went dead silent. I asked him what was wrong, and the next thing caused me to freeze. That psycho wrote you into a story. No, you gotta be kidding. He wouldn't do that. How foolish I was. He could. And he did. There's a character with my name, had my physical description down to the tiniest detail, and was in an abusive relationship with a boy named Nathan who beat her day in and day out. I was fucking mortified. He wrote me as a living sex doll. Not 10 sentences go by without some character or the narrator talking about my butt, or how Iowabeard's OC and I were just destined for each other. Keep in mind, this wasn't something he sent me. Oh no, this was on the internet. The very visible internet. People were seeing this. Likely people we knew were seeing this. Luckily, those who reviewed it were not too kind, so at least there's that. But it didn't stop there. He was also writing his Super Smash Bros. Fanfiction that was supposed to be the longest in history. He succeeded this, but only by spamming the phrase "Praise Jesus" for over 100 chapters. Back to the point, he wrote me in again, this time as Peach, still making constant references to my butt and how Iowabeard's self-insert was hoping to marry me and give me buried butt love. I threw up a little in my mouth just now. I'd had it with him. Luckily, by the time he posted that, sophomore year was about to start, so I only had to wait until then to confront him. A few days before school started, he posted one of his English papers as a fanfiction, using it to attack Mr. Williams on a public website. Few people read it. Nobody sided with him. I guess he did this to celebrate that he would no longer have Mr. Williams as a teacher or something. His motives remain unclear to this day. When confronted about what he did, he remained unapologetic. To him, it was a great honor to be written in one of his stories, let alone multiple. I bothered him about it for days, and he wouldn't give up. Finally, after school one day, while he was waiting to be picked up, I cornered him. I said something along the lines of, "Listen, you fat, smelly slug. If you don't stop writing Nathan and I into your stories, I'm going to make your life miserable. I know your parents don't know what you say about me or what you write. I can easily show them. Get it through your head already. I don't love you. I don't even like you. I am with someone else. I want nothing to do with you or your fetish-fueled garbage." He looked like he was about to cry, but I showed no pity. Normally, I'm not that aggressive. But this was different. Iowabeard had pushed me too far. I had to do something. I had to stop him. I know I should have told my parents or his parents or somebody about what he was writing. Simply put, I was young and stupid. I felt like I could handle it on my own. I felt like I was strong enough to withstand the storm of Iowabeard's advances. Now I know different, but, more on that later. As it turns out, my threatening tone worked. The next Batman story he posted, I was unceremoniously written out with little fanfare. Good. It was an anticlimactic way for my character to leave, but I'm okay with that. I don't think anybody would have been all that upset, honestly. That would require people actually liking it. Around November, Iowabeard would get in some serious trouble. There was this one girl, let's call her Heather. Heather and I are decent enough friends, not really close. I guess she made it into Iowabeard's must-have butts list, because he straight up squeezed her ass in between classes. I wasn't there to see this, but word traveled around the school like wildfire. Iowabeard was suspended, and if what I heard is true, he was also threatened with Heather pressing charges, which she ultimately did not do. I want to know if this is true or not, but Heather doesn't want to talk about that ever again, so I respect her boundaries. People began branding Iowabeard as a pretty bad guy after that. No one would get anywhere near him, not just because of his rank odor this time. As per usual, Iowabeard was not having any of this. He decided to prove to everyone that he is a good person. No, not a good person. A great person. The best person. A person so good it would make Mother Teresa look like Hitler. How he was going to accomplish this? Well, with fanfiction, of course. He started inserting morals into his stories. When I say morals, I use that in the loosest of terms. What he would do was insert either a generic and bland educational moment, or bend the story to shape his hateful and uncompromising worldview. Now, I myself am a Christian. I've been one my whole life. So is Nathan, and so is Iowabeard. What sets our belief apart is that we don't believe that everyone who doesn't abide by our faith is evil. Yeah, that's what Iowabeard would preach most of the time. He even made a story about how the Peanuts gang trying to stop the, quote, spirit of atheism from taking over their town. What? Needless to say, this only made him look like a worse person. Especially because, by now, a fair few of our class members were reading Iowabeard's stories to make fun of them. Everyone always knew he was messed up, and this didn't help in the slightest. Now there was irrefutable evidence of what he believed. As if people didn't want to get close enough to him now, oh boy, you'd think this guy was made of toxic waste. And then it happened. Something inside of him just kind of snapped. No, he didn't run around the school trying to hurt anybody. Something far more unexpected. Once again, not making this up, Iowabeard was now convinced that he in fact was a prophet of God. You read that right. Iowabeard had a dream that God himself told him to write his fanfiction, as it would bring people to him. In return, he would be made a king on earth, a nobleman in heaven, all while having any woman of his choice as his queen. I mean, everybody has crazy dreams. I once had a dream where I was palling around with a cast of friends in Antarctica. This guy thought this was legitimate calling from the Lord on high. You want to know how I know? Well, because he kept telling everybody. I was one of the first, as he obviously would need to inform me that I was chosen to be his queen, so I should leave Nathan before I had to suffer the heartbreak of seeing him die of some kind of heavenly attack. Naturally, everyone told him that he was absolutely insane. His response? He promised to tell God what they were saying, and they would be cursed for their blasphemy. Yeah, I'm not joking. This is the kind of stuff that only Chris Chan was supposed to be capable of believing. That makes me so happy that you know who Chris Chan is. His parents, finally seeing that their son was losing what little mind he had, decided to take him to therapy. I have no idea why they didn't do this sooner. Beggars can't be choosers. During this time, Iowabeard's fanfictions became a bit more unstable. I guess having to go to some shrink every week, constantly hearing this blasphemy again and again, was just too much for him. It came to a breaking point where he ended up stealing someone's story, claiming it as his own. You want to know how I know this? Well, for one thing, all the reviews in that story were slammed with people accusing him of stealing somebody else's. Also, when Nathan asked him about it, Iowabeard completely confessed. Not only that, but he was proud of it. But that's not all. He followed it up with this little gem.
Yeah, the original author was trying to expose me, stop my holy work, so I had to fight back. Nobody attacks a soldier of God like that. I knew what I had to do.
No, he didn't attack the author. Instead, he threatened to dox him. Wow. I don't know how Iowabeard got a hold of his information. All I know is that he had it, and was completely unafraid to use it. He also admitted to sending some of it to the original author to prove that he wasn't bluffing, so the author left the website forever. I don't know if he deleted his account or wiped all his stories or whatever. All I know is that Iowabeard ruined this guy's entire account and threatened his well-being. Wow. Nathan and I were done. Absolutely done. How dare he do something like this? It's like a burglar breaking into somebody's house, cutting himself on glass that he broke in through the window, and then suing the people who own the house. And then winning! We had to tell his parents, and then maybe even the school about what happened. However, we didn't have to. I guess someone else must have told Iowabeard's heroic story of blackmail and theft, because his parents found out exactly what happened. School was almost out by this point, so they just let him stay. I don't think that he didn't go unpunished, though. He absolutely was. I'm not sure what specific things happened in his home life. It's really none of my business. What I do know is that he was forced into intense psychiatric treatment effective immediately. Honestly, it was about time. Over the summer, his original fanfiction account was terminated. Why? Well, take your pick. His stories were all racist, sexist, homophobic, plagiarized, and threatened violence. I'm sure all of those were against the rules. I don't know how he took this. I was just happy that he was getting the help that he needed. No longer would he claim to be a soldier of God. No longer would he write sleazy stories about people that he either hated or lusted for. No longer would he attack people like YouTubers or critics who were merely offering basic writing instructions. If all went well, he would be a functioning member of society again. All did not go well. He was fine for a while. He even made a second fanfiction account, apparently even making sure that he conducted himself in a normal way. Nathan and I kept reading his stories, not because, we enjoyed them. It's all the drama with him made Nathan lose whatever enjoyment he had with them. Now it was to make sure that we weren't being written into them again. By November, things went right back to the way they were. He was back to his new and improved Super Bottom collection, which he was still very fond of showing to literally everyone. This time, nobody was willing to put up with it. Most everyone gave him a piece of their mind, which, as I'm sure you can guess, he didn't like. Seeing everyone betray him like this seemed to make his mental state continue to wither. While he didn't have any delusions of godhood anymore, his fuse somehow had gotten even shorter. And almost anything would cause him to blow up. If he talked bad about one of his super bottoms, one of his stories, it's over. Total meltdown. I guess he's had enough with me daring to say that I don't love him. Why do I say that? Well, he made a Twitter and a Reddit for the sole purpose of asking people how to break Nathan and I up, so that he could swoop in, thereby taking what's rightfully mine. I've seen screenshots of these posts. They're horrifying, borderline threatening. Nathan and I knew we had no other choice. We were going to get a restraining order. When Iowabeard's family heard about this, they freaked out. Not at us, but at Iowabeard. The restraining order would cause them to move houses, which they were not willing to do. They begged with us to reconsider. We only agreed to do so because we wanted to punish him, not his parents. Iowabeard was also very, very insistent on not getting restrained. What we decided to do was give him a 2-week trial period, where he would send us a handwritten apology and be on his best behavior. Sure enough, he didn't talk to us for those 2 weeks, making sure that he was on his best behavior. As a result, we decided to waive the order. This has proven to be a mistake. The minute that we told him we would not be getting the restraining order, but to keep a close eye on him the whole time, he went right back to his old ways. He was still posting about us on Twitter and Reddit, and they're still vaguely threatening. As I'm writing this, we're meeting with our lawyer again to reopen the restraining order. Unfortunately, this is where the story ends. Iowabeard is still out there writing fanfiction to this very day, and still lusting over his super bottoms. This guy is a menace to society, but at least he won't be bothering us anymore. We're going to put a stop to this right now. Why am I posting this? Well, for one, to let my story be heard. I want all of my experiences to be well documented. Not only that, but I want to do a little teaching of my own. Everyone out there, if you meet someone like Iowabeard, do not hesitate to put a stop to that. Tell someone, make a fuss, don't accept this. Nobody has the right to treat you like this, regardless of who they are or where they come from. If you don't stop, you too may fall victim to this. Oh boy. That is wow. That is some serious fucking Sonichu level craziness. Like some Chris Chan level craziness. I'm gonna be honest, once you started talking about the fan fictions and people people going on about this, I kinda want to know more. I kinda want to know what the fucking stories are. Like, I want to read these stories. I'm not gonna lie, I really want to read these stories. Whoa, hold up. I'm reading through some stuff. Wait, hold up. Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys. Hold on. I think I found it. I think I found it. I think I found his fucking stories. Oh my god, I found his, yeah, I found his Reddit account. It's a lot of like Neckbeard stuff. Like, why girls always turn down the nice guys. Oh my god, he has his own wiki. He has his own wiki. Oh no! Oh no! Oh my gosh! Oh no! Oh, there's so much. Oh, there's so fucking much. Oh no! Oh my god! Oh, we're about to make a series, you guys. This is, oh my god. Oh god. He has a whole fucking, just all this other stuff. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I am gonna have to go through this page, you guys. I am gonna have to go through this page because, like, oh my goodness. There's so much. There's so many stories here. From what I can see, there are, oh gosh, there are 28 stories in this. So I'm gonna have to go through them and see if I can find, like, what the what the fuck? Oh my goodness, look at this shit. There's so much. Oh Oh wow. I'm not showing. I know it just sounds like I'm just losing it over nothing. Oh fuck. This is incredible. He wrote a Game Grumps story, and I'm trying to find it. I'm gonna have to go through these. I know. I'm just gushing at this point. I need to stop. This video is already really fucking long. Wow, it really is. I just saw how long it is. Okay, so I guess consider this an intro, because I'm gonna start going through these. I don't know when they're gonna come out, but holy shit. I think I think we just found a new, I guess, person to start fucking watching. This is amazing. This is so amazing. Oh my goodness. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you're as excited as I am, because Lord knows I'm beside myself right now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay. Goodbye.